Hey everybody, my name is Mike. I am not for Coltrane. Welcome to your Coltrane Tuesdays. For this, the 19th day of March in the year 2024 of the Common Era. How is everybody doing? I am a little bit scattered, which is not terribly unusual for me at this point, but I am excited that things are happening at approximately on time. As they should be going out. I believe the audio and video are functioning. It looks like things are going to where they're supposed to go. Maybe, possibly. It's difficult to tell. Can't really tell if it's working on Facebook or not, but that's all right. If people are watching, I'm always grateful for people who can let me know what in fact is happening. Coltrane the dog looked understandably scared by the fireball. Yes, that is fair. That is fair. Fortunately, it was not a real fireball used in the thumbnail. It was, in fact, generated by AI, which I suppose if there were real fireballs being generated by AI, that would be even worse. But in this case, it was just the image of a fireball generated by AI, which seemed like a pretty good use case for that particular technology. Rather trying to find a rights-free image of an actual fireball turned out to be rather challenging. But in any case, we're going to find out what fireballs have to do with today's song that we're leading off with, the song that I haven't hadn't ever attempted to play before yesterday. And we will also play a round of the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. The way that works is people will give me a request. People who are live online with us here will give me a song suggestion, a song request, and I will have to play a song in response to that request regardless of whether I happen to know the song that was requested. Perhaps it will be a song that I have played before that I do happen to know, in which case I will try to remember how to play that particular song. Perhaps the song will be one that I sort of know, like I'm kind of familiar with it. I've seen it played at a bunch of open mics or have heard it online or heard it on the radio. But never actually tried to play it, in which case I'll have to try to figure out how to play it here in front of everyone. Or perhaps the song will be one that I don't know at all. I've never heard of it before, or at least I don't recognize it by the title, in which case I will have to make up a brand new song right here on the spot with the same name as the song that was requested, thereby technically satisfying the requirement. That is how we play the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game, and now is a great time to get in your request to make sure that I see it at the point when we are going to be doing that. Margot remarks that she can see and hear. Not sure if she'll be able to stay on, but she's here for now, for which I am grateful. So we'll see how all of that goes. It looks like things have also worked out on Facebook, as far as I can tell. So, the song I'm leading off with today, as I described as I put in the description, is an open mic staple. And now that I've tried to play it, I understand why. The song is Everlong by Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters, and I'll talk about the name, but that's where the fireball comes in. Because it's a World War II thing describing unidentified flying objects that aviators in the World War II were seeing. What does that have to do with the band and Dave Grohl and all of that? Well, we'll talk briefly about some of those things, but let me make sure I'm roughly in tune. Looks like it. I'm not sure that Margot is familiar with Foo Fighters, the aerial phenomenon, or the band. I suspect you've heard this song before, even if you don't necessarily know it by name, because it's been out there for a while and it's kind of it's pretty widely disseminated through the culture. But now let's see what I'm able to do with the song Everlong by Foo Fighters. I throw myself into out of the red, out of not to stop when I say when. She sang. Breathe out so I can breathe you in, hold you in. And now I know you've always been out of your head, out of my head I sang. And I wonder, I sing along with you. If anything could ever be this real forever, if anything could ever be this good again, the only thing I'll ever ask of you, gotta promise not to stop when I say when. She sang. And I wonder, I sing along. Anything could ever be this real forever. If anything could ever be this good again, the only thing I'll ever ask of you, gotta promise not to stop when I say when. When I say. Not bad. I will take it. That is Everlong by Foo Fighters, or the Foo Fighters, whatever. Either way it works. The Dave Grohl band that has been out there doing their thing for quite a long time at this point. Heard of the Foo Fighters, probably have heard them without knowing it was them. Yes, that is likely, because they've been out there doing their thing for a while. It is, it's kind of remarkable how Dave Grohl has kind of evolved into this this affable storyteller and sort of elder statesman of rock. Cool. So it was in approximately, and I should pull up some of my notes here to make sure I don't screw up all the details. Approximately in 1990, I believe, Dave Grohl started playing drums with Nirvana. So Kurt Cobain, and oh man, I'm gonna mess up the name with the other member of Nirvana. So let me make sure I pull this up so I don't screw that up. That was Chris. Yeah, Chris Novoselic. Chris Novoselic was the bass player for Nirvana. Chris Novoselic and Kurt Cobain were playing music, and they recruited a drummer, and that guy didn't work out, and then they ended up talking with Dave Grohl, and that became the iconic power trio that was Nirvana, and just tore through the popular music landscape in the early 90s, and everyone's like, holy cow, this is amazing. Sort of the raw grit and heart that goes into this really intense sound coming out of Seattle with and sort of being the forebears of the grunge alternative rock scene as it came to be understood. And then very quickly everything sort of goes sideways when Kurt Cobain dies. Yeah, Kurt Cobain commits suicide, and then it's like, okay, so now what happens? And Dave Grohl had been, was kicking around ideas and figuring out what he wants to do with himself. There was an offer for him to join Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, which he almost said yes to. And then he's like, you know what? I don't necessarily just want to be a drummer in other people's bands for the rest of my life. So he started messing around. He'd been doing some songwriting on the side, but has been kind of intimidated, understandably, by Kurt Cobain and all of the songwriting that he was doing and the way people were receiving it. And so he's kind of messing around on the side and puts together basically a demo tape where he's playing all the instruments. He's doing the guitar, he's doing the bass, he's doing the drums. And like puts it on a cassette or something and is handing it out to friends to see what they think. And the name he put on it was Foo Fighters. He said in part because he wanted people to think it wasn't just this one guy. Well, this is one guy in a garage or his bedroom or whatever doing all of the different parts. And Foo Fighters, where that name comes from, so a little side tangent here, where that comes from, I had understood as I was fairly young in the late 90s, and I had heard that Foo Fighters was a reference to UFOs, unidentified flying objects, but I hadn't until very recently, like last night, looked to find out, or 2 nights ago, find out more specifically about the Foo Fighter phenomenon and what it was. So these Allied pilots flying in World War II, in fact, in both the European and the Japanese theater, also it seems like the pilots in the flying over Germany in the European theater were the ones who coined the term, saw these glowing fireball-like objects that seemed to follow them through the sky, and they couldn't be shot down, and they didn't ever seem to attack, but they seemed to be, following them around, and they was kind of freaking people out. And to this day, from what I understand, there is not a definitive explanation as to what exactly they were. There was, of course, a lot of concern at the time that this was some sort of new weapon that the Axis was deploying, and there have continued to be people who say that's in fact what they were. As far as I can tell, never actually been verified. There have been lots of possible explanations posited, possibly including St. Elmo's fire or something in dealing with the charges, electromagnetic charge building up on the wings of the aircraft, which might explain why they're following them around. Another possibility, this was kind of the first time that pilots had been flying for sustained periods of time under these sorts of circumstances, and it could have been certain kinds of hallucinations that were people didn't understand the dangers and the challenges of spending all of this time flying an airplane at night under these kinds of circumstances, and that could have been a thing. But in any case, it's not entirely. No one is really sure exactly what those Foo Fighters were. The name for it is a sort of a whole other convoluted thing, probably related to at least a couple steps removed from the foobar term, which came to be very popular in the 50s. And it seems like the idea of foo, or the word foo, was also sort of a, like there was the point in like the late 90s when I think it was after Wayne's World 2 and everyone was like going, not, I'm really enjoying this party, not. And it seemed like it just like this brain worm had just attacked everyone, and this was sort of this linguistic tick everyone had adopted. From what I could tell, that's what happened in the mid-40s, the early to mid-40s, where foo was one of the things that people was a word that was out there that everyone was aware of. And it seems that the effing Foo Fighters was something that the pilots started calling it, and then it got cleaned up just to Foo Fighters. Of course, foobar also being rather colorful, effed up beyond all recognition. Anyway, so if anyone's still watching after that tangent, Dave Grohl starts putting out some music. Wants to see what happens. It gets a reception. People are interested. So he puts together a band to play this music that he had started doing on his own, and it kind of goes and it connects with people. And he's working then on the follow-up album, which ends up being called The Color and the Shape. The whole story of how he wrote Everlong is excellently documented from his own mouth. He's talking about how he was waiting between takes as they're recording stuff for it, and he just happens to hit this chord. He's like, well, that sounds cool. And then when he realized, well, that sounds cool too, you can kind of go, and then you can kind of move it around. And so, between the different takes as they're recording it, he's messing around with that chord progression. He's also going through a breakup at the time, and so that all sort of the words and the music just fit together very nicely. He shows an early version of the song to the guys in Sonic Youth because he's thinking he's subconsciously ripped them off, and they're like, "Hey, it's a cool song. So that's on the record, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess we should get that on the record." So he goes back, takes the song to the band, they get it out, it becomes the second single off the Color and the Shape in 1997, and it's pretty cool. The acoustic version of it then, subsequently, he's on the radio with Howard Stern at like 6:45 in the morning, and Howard Stern says, "Hey, can you play that Everlong song?" He's like, "I guess, I've never done an acoustic before, we'll see how this goes." And he really liked it, and Howard really liked it, and the audience really liked it. So he's like, "Yes, this is a cool way to do this song as well." And there you go. So there's Everlong by Foo Fighters. I should say also thanks very much to Tom Cooney of Tom Cooney Music for requesting the song quite a long time ago. I was looking for a song to do for today's lead-off that I hadn't ever done before, but also I was out of time to learn something very complicated. So I was trying to think of something that would be relatively straightforward. Sure enough, found a note that I had written to myself years ago where Tom Cooney had requested a whole list of songs that he thought would be cool to hear me do. And this was one of them, and not necessarily a characteristic song that I would have thought that Tom Cooney would have requested, but perfect for our purposes for today. So thanks very much to Tom for that. And as I mentioned in recent webcasts, Tom has recently released in this past year an album called Dancing on the Moon, 10 original songs in contemporary folk, jazz, and blues styles. So check out Tom Cooney on Bandcamp or just tomcooneymusic.com for all of your Tom Cooney music needs. Let's see, if things are still functioning, and it appears that they are, that all of the stuff, yes, okay, so it looks like all that's still happening. It is about time for the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. If people are still out there watching, now is a great time to get in your request for the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. Failing that, I will dig into the dusty bag of pre-submitted requests and see what we might get out of there. But the way this works, again, if you missed the top of the show, people give me requests, and I have to play them regardless of whether I know them. So maybe they'll request a song that I have played before, in which case I'll try to remember how to play it. People might request a song that I kind of sort of know because I've seen people do it or heard it, but I've never played it myself, in which case I will try to figure out how to play it. People might request a song that I don't know at all, in which case I'll have to make up a brand new song right here on the spot with the same name as the song that was requested, thereby technically satisfying the requirement. That is how we play the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. I'll give just a few more moments if people want to get in a request for that. And in the meantime, I will mention one other cool thing that is happening tonight as of the time of this live stream. And if you're seeing this later, that's fine, because the thing I'm talking about will still be viewable, because tonight is the 100th episode of Your Next Favorite Band, the podcast that my friends put together, and they've been talking to all sorts of cool people in the local and in the regional and the wider world in the music scene, and all sorts of cool things that they have been doing. Their guests for episode number 100 include George Wacker of Lehigh Valley with Love, who provided a platform for the Your Next Favorite Band idea to germinate and begin to take shape. It'll also include Blair Crimmins, the very first guest that Philip of Your Next Favorite Band interviewed for some sort of webcast purpose. And also Carver Commodore, the band that, as Philip writes, the band that made me feel validated throughout the process of inviting, prepping, and interviewing, and the various shenanigans that follow. There may also be another couple of surprises, so check out that webcast. In addition, they will be announcing the lineup for the No Planet B Jamboree, which is happening on the 21st of April at 2 in the afternoon in Bethlehem at the Sun Inn Courtyard. Weather permitting, it will move to someplace with a roof if absolutely necessary. So check out those things. Check out Your Next Favorite Band. They are on the YouTube. You look for Next Favorite Band podcast or Next Favorite Band Lehigh Valley. You'll be able to find them and all the cool things that they are doing online. And so, with all of that said, I believe it is now time for me to figure out what I'm doing today. I don't see any requests coming in, which means we go into the bag. Let's see, a pre-submitted request for the Not for Coltrane Stump the Band game. Let's see what we have today. I have no idea what's on any of these cards. This request is... the irony that this would be the request that I pull out today. Yet again, the request is Baby Got Back. The request is submitted by you-know-who, or it says Bet You Can Guess. I believe that is our friend Beth. Let me see if I can get it so people can actually see. Requested again to get that in. All right, so I did attempt to do this last week. I think it was last week, in the style of Green Day. No, it wasn't last week. It was 2 weeks ago. I don't particularly love this idea. I suspect Beth will enjoy it very much when she has a chance to see it. Let's see. Man, if Mark were here to feed me lyrics, that would be great. Let's see. So I don't really know that there's much of a melodic element to it. I know there's a beat, but I don't really even know what the beat sounds like. I have a very, very loose impression of what the beat for Baby Got Back sounds like. I believe the initial lyrics are, I like big butts, and I cannot lie. No other brother can deny. When a woman walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, wonderful things happen. Mom requests fuzziness and breath. Hi, Mom. Great. You get to hear me sing to try to wrap my way through Baby Got Back. Great. I do appreciate you watching. Thank you. All right, so Baby Got Back. I need some sort of a rhythm for this. And just for Mom, we're going to also do a quick version of Fuzziness and Breath after this, but initially I've already committed to doing Baby Got Back. So we're just going to do some sort of thing for this. Now, if I were particularly smart, I would have gotten my freestyle rapping warmed up in advance. But here we are. I like big butts, and I cannot lie. No other brother can deny. When a woman walks in with a little bitty waist and a round thing in your face, it gets tight. Wanna get down, wanna go all around. Dance here with a bitty bitty waist and a round thing in your face. Yes, I like big butts. I like big butts. But really all women are what they should be, 'cause that is how we have to see. Body positivity, inclusivity. Everybody's got a place where they got a round thing in your face or not. It gets hot, 'cause baby got back. Now Sir Mix-a-Lot, he has some things to say about the parts of anatomy that would really make his day. But you know they all the same. They women don't blame. Can't blame them for how their body shapes. That's just how it works. Everybody's got a place. Everybody's got a face. Everybody wants to love. Everybody get it on, get it on, get it on, get it on. Everybody's got somebody who will love them for who they are. Baby got back. I know you think this song should not be so wholesome, but hey son, that's how it's gotta be. It's gotta be time, have some fun. Everybody knows that's how it goes. Just have to find a place for everyone who knows that's where that's gotta blow your nose, hey, wiggle your toes. Everything, that's how it goes. The baby got back. And we'll leave it there. Thanks very much to the unknown requester, probably Beth, of Baby Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot. That but thanks very much to my mom also for tuning in. So let's do a quick version here of Fuzziness and Breath, the title track of the EP that I put out at the tail end of 2019, just before everything shut down. But I worked on this with Jason Reef of Freestone Productions. The album, this particular song includes performances by Sean Cav on the bass and Dave Dudler on drums, and the one and only Dave Fry doing some mandolin, which came together very, very nicely. And the rest of the EP is just me, with some of it with some multi-tracking, but a lot of it's just me and a microphone with guitar. And that's also cool too. But if you check it out online, it's on the Spotify, it's on the Bandcamp, it's on all of the things to check out the full band version of Fuzziness and Breath. But here is the solo version of Fuzziness and Breath. Uncommon concepts, now you've got me. sloppy, uncommon concepts. Now you got me. Now you got me. Now you got me. Yeah. No excuses for singing sloppy, uncommon concepts. Now you've got me. Now you've got me. Fuzziness and breath. I should also special shout out to my songwriting partner Jonathan. We put that song together quite a few years ago, and I have continued to get quite a lot of mileage out of it. So thanks very much to Jonathan for that. And thanks also, of course, to my mom, Kathy, for requesting that. Thank you, Mom. Hope things are going well in your part of the world. And thanks to our anonymous, probably Beth requester, for Baby Got Back. And thanks to Dave Grohl for writing the song Everlong. And and also, like I say, check out Tom Cooney online and look for his record Dancing on the Moon. Look for the 100th episode of your next favorite band coming up later tonight. And next week I believe is the final week for the March 4th series, to be followed closely by A is for April, Africa, and Asia, meaning the songs leading off the shows coming up in April will all start with, all the episodes will start with songs that include references to places or points of interest in Africa and or Asia. Which is proving to be a little bit challenging to come up with songs that match that. We might talk about that a little bit more next week. But it is an intriguing challenge, and I'm looking forward to getting that worked out. So next week, March 4th, coming up in April, songs with Asia and Africa, as well as continued installments of the Not4Coltrane Stump the Band game. So I hope you will be able to join us for many of those, if not all of those episodes, whether you watch them live or whether you watch them later. Thanks very much to everyone who has been watching. Thanks to everyone who hits that like button or the share button to say, hey, here's this guy trying to freestyle rap about body positivity. And of course, the links are there for the virtual tip jar if anyone would like to make a contribution via Venmo or PayPal or Cash App. I'm always grateful for those things. And until next time, my name is Mike. I'm Not4Coltrane. Please take care of yourself. Take care of each other. I'll see you then.